Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you the latest developments in the war. The Ukrainian army is taking remarkable steps not only in defense but also by launching strategic attacks on occupied territories. Recent developments are among the moves that have the potential to influence the course of this war. At this point, Ukraine's latest operation has once again turned the world's attention to the Black Sea and Crimea in particular. Crimea, which has been both a military and political symbol for Russia since the beginning of the occupation, remains a target for the Ukrainian army. Ukrainian forces frequently target critical bases and logistics centers established by Russia in the region, aiming to undermine Moscow's control. This time, the target was an FSB base in Crimea. The attack carried out by the Ukrainian army with 3 Flamingo missiles goes beyond being a military success. It sends a powerful message to the heart of Russia's security apparatus. So, what does this attack mean in terms of the course of the war? How do Ukraine's new missile systems, which it has been working on for a long time, increase its capacity to hit targets deep inside Russia? For Russia, is this attack merely a military loss, or does it reveal deeper problems with the security apparatus? Let's explore all aspects of these intriguing developments together. The Pioneer is back. Don't forget that you can support us by subscribing and liking our videos in celebration of our return. Ukraine has carried out an historically significant attack in occupied Crimea. This attack marks a major turning point not only in terms of the target chosen, but also in terms of the weapon employed. The Ukrainian army tested the new generation FP5 Flamingo cruise missile, unknown until now, for the first time in combat conditions and targeted a base belonging directly to Russia's security services. This attack on the Russian FSB base stationed in North Crimea was carried out with 3 missiles. According to statements, 2 of the missiles hit the target squarely, while the third fell about 100 meters away. At first glance, this may not seem like an absolute success. However, when military experts examined the damage left by the missiles, a completely different picture emerged. Huge craters with a diameter of 15 meters were formed after the impacts. This proves that the destructive power of the missile compensates for small deviations in accuracy. In other words, even if it doesn't hit the center of the target, the FP5 Flamingo missile is powerful enough to completely destroy the surrounding area. The significance of this attack is not limited to its military destructive power. It also demonstrates that Ukraine has begun deploying its own domestically produced high-tech next-generation missiles. Ukraine, which has long received weapon support from the West, is now also making its presence felt on the battlefield with systems produced by its own defense industry. The Flamingo missile is compared to American Tomahawk cruise missiles in terms of range and power. Some sources claim that Ukrainian officials deliberately concealed all details of the attack because they aimed for simultaneous coordination with their allies. According to these claims, Ukraine may be testing a scenario where Flamingo missiles are used alongside Tomahawks. So, how could this new development change the course of the war? First of all, it must be said that Russian bases in Crimea are no longer safe in any way. Ukraine had previously carried out attacks on the Crimean Bridge and Russian naval facilities in Sevastopol. This time, however, the target was a base that could be considered the nerve center of Russian security services. This attack sends Russia the message: no place is untouchable anymore. It also shows that as Ukraine enters the fourth year of the war, it is not just defending itself, but has reached the capacity to carry out critical operations in the occupied territories. From Russia's perspective, the biggest problem created by this attack is the complete undermining of its security perceptions. For years, the Kremlin has defined Crimea as Russia's red line. However, Ukraine's move has deeply wounded Moscow's rhetoric. A wave of anxiety has also spread among the Russian civilian population living in Crimea. Images shared on social media shows smoke clouds rising into the sky and explosion sounds after the attack created an atmosphere of panic in northern Crimea. Military analysts agree that the FP5 Flamingo missiles are long range and highly accurate, although no official information has been released about their technical specifications. The mobility of the launch systems gives Ukraine a significant tactical advantage. This makes it possible to bypass Russia's air defense systems and launch attacks from unexpected locations. Furthermore, it is believed that the missile's guidance systems can use both GPS and inertial navigation. This provides resilience against electronic warfare interference. The repercussions of this attack on the international stage are also noteworthy. Initial comments from Western countries emphasize the strategic importance of Ukraine being able to develop its own defense industry and act independently. Military circles in the US and the UK in particular believe that the coordinated use of Flamingo missiles with Tomahawks could play an important role in NATO's future strategic planning. This shows that Ukraine has become not only a battlefield but also a testing ground for new weapons. On the Russian front, initial statements regarding the attack were quite limited. The Kremlin claimed that minor damage occurred at the facilities in Crimea. However, satellite images and independent reports from the field cast doubt on these statements. It is reported that large areas around the base were destroyed and some buildings were rendered completely unusable. It has also been learned that Russia urgently reinforced its air defense systems and sent additional troops to the region after the attack. This is indirect evidence that the attack caused serious concern in Moscow. So, what will happen next? First, Ukraine's Flamingo missiles may now signal a new phase in the course of the war. Having previously achieved significant successes with HIMARS systems, Storm Shadow missiles, and naval drones, Ukraine now aims to corner Russia with its own domestically produced long range weapons. Second, the security of Russian bases in Crimea is being seriously questioned. This attack shows that Crimea may be targeted more frequently in the future. Third, it will create new pressure on Russia's economic and military resources. This is because Moscow now has to defend not only the front line but also the logistics bases and command centers in Crimea. Ultimately, Ukraine's strike on the FSB base in Crimea with FP5 Flamingo missiles is seen as the beginning of a new phase in the war. This attack demonstrates both the level Ukraine has reached in its defense industry and the impossibility of Russia feeling secure in the occupied territories. In terms of international balances, Ukraine's strengthening of its military coordination with the West through such attacks further isolates Moscow. So, what do you think? Do you think these attacks on the Crimean Peninsula will continue? What do you think about the impact of these attacks on Russia? Please comment below. We read and value your opinions.